Hello there, and welcome back to Just Our Three Gents, the AEW Dynamite review on the Biconics Podcast Network. I'm here tonight as JVL with our friends Adolfo and the Professor.
Running in suit pants! Ah, it's chafing my junk!
Nope, looks like he's still out for a jog. I wonder if he's been home.
How does he do that? How does he? He's. It's like this Forrest Gump thing he's got going on. What's
it's
up
got to
with
be
that?
the pants. It's the suit pants last week, and it's chafing. It makes him keep going.
Yeah, I get that. I'm telling you.
And of course, we have our lovely Mikey on the ones and twos here with us as well to jump in with any spicy thoughts as we go along.
The gods.
The gods.
But apparently, we're going to be talking about the wrestling. So
that's what I've
let's
heard.
talk about some wrestling. Can we get one thing? Can we get one thing just out of the way?
Sure. Let's do this.
Just get this out of the way. So on this episode of Wednesday night AEW Dynamite, Sting officially announced his retirement, which is coming in 2024.
Yeah, in a year.
Right. Right. But I have a feeling that he's going to be running what they call like a part-time schedule.
Yeah.
You know? Because he's been the last few pay-per-views for AEW, he hasn't been around. You know, if you follow him on social media, I follow Sting on social media. If you follow him on social media, he's been around like at conventions, so it's not like he's not doing anything.
He's got to make the money for the other stuff there. He doesn't have a pension plan.
I mean, right? I don't think he's gonna be doing that much of a full schedule. Like, I don't think he's gonna be on your collisions, on your rampages, on your dynamites. You know, I think he's gonna be coming out sparsely, and especially now with Adam Copeland. I said it. I didn't say the other word.
It's so hard to say.
Adam Copeland, especially now with Adam Copeland a boot. Story-wise, Adam Copeland has injected
rated
himself.
R superstar Adam Copeland.
Rated R superstar Adam Copeland has injected himself into this whole Christian Luchasaurus, Darby Allin, Nick Wayne thing. So, I think it's okay. I think it's okay if Sting just runs a part-time and just kind of, as we say, floats it until his actual day of retirement. Because the other thing too is, he's not a sprightly chicken anymore.
I don't know what you could have seen to show you that, from him not being able to walk down the ramp to the ring for his announcement. Like,
exactly.
The man's in his
mid-60s.
Like, he should not be doing this to himself.
Right. So, I can imagine that he's going to want to go out with a bang. So if that's going to be the case, I'm okay. Do you, Sting? Yeah. Do you?
Don't be forced to retire like you did last time. Retire on your own two things, and then when Dixie Carter calls you later on with another run in, Impact, then we'll talk about that then. So it'll be fine.
Maybe he can have a manager role. You never know.
Manager, coach, all these type of things. He'll be a figurehead, especially of this whole thing for a while.
Right.
And I think you're right. They're going to use him very sparingly. He'll pop up for big event matches. There might be a build or two where he does a video package like Joker Sting and the other things he did. Maybe we get the greatest hits of Sting as we go along, and so he de-evolves back to Surfer Sting for the last bit there, and like spikes his hair up, does the flat top for the final match.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Who knows?
Cool. I will just, like, kind of off topic. We had talked about this.
We haven't even gotten on topic yet, so it's okay.
Well, but we talked about this on the either Rampage or Collision, the other show, on how there was a match where Sting was not allowed to be at ringside, and how I was really disappointed that we didn't see Sting in the rafters.
Right. I mean, that's the way you get it for this. You have it like video packages or something where he's in the rafters at every building, just watching the proceedings. Saying his goodbyes. I don't think they'll have him rappel down again, because that, 65-year-old man in a harness. I'm excited to see how they write Sting's end of his career, what they allow him to do with it.
Yep.
And yes, take care of it, everything else. And if it ends up being Darby Allin, if it ends up being Copeland, if it ends up being someone else from his past where he runs a gauntlet of his old like things, given the 10 gun salute, like have Ric Flair show up and be able to like send him off. Hulk Hogan get booing out of the crowd so he never gets brought up again, which I loved him reacting to that. Like, yep, you're right. I have to say it though. I learned a bunch from him, but like he's a jackass. So
Yep.
Name dropping Lex Luger, who like get him,
Yeah.
get him in his wheelchair to come over and say like it'd be a lot of good stuff. So
Yeah.
we appreciate you, Sting. We appreciate you taking care of Tony Schiavone the way you did, and that was a great way to kind of like that was the big kind of moment tonight. So you're right, we had to bring that up first. That was what everyone knew about this entire thing because the rest of the night kind of fell flat. Otherwise, except for a couple of high spots, it was better than last week's, which is saying something because they tried to overload it. This one was like better along the lines. It was a better put together show.
Yeah.
Which started off with kind of a bang, really. We had Penta versus Jay White in the opener. Like
Jay White.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I've seen Jay White work against every style now in a bunch of different companies, and I still am amazed how he continues to have a through line of his offense and a through line of his work, but it melds with every different opponent, especially this one where he was grounding Penta in so many fun ways.
When I saw that Penta and Jay White were going up against each other, I was like, you know what? This is going to be a good match. I personally was surprised at how great of a match it was because both guys they work really hard. Jay White is not afraid to sell.
No.
I truly appreciate how even though he got the win, how he still looked like he got the crap kicked out of him. And Penta as well, selling a lot of all the things that Switchblade was hitting him with, and selling it well, making it look very seamless.
Or no selling it when it was the chops, like taking his shirt off to get chopped back to back.
Yeah, the chop battle, that was good. I would not have minded that chop battle going on a little bit longer.
Definitely.
I'll be honest.
I've noticed also in Penta's matches lately too. It's like seems like he wants to get his kid off every time. He wants to take that top off. So he had a reason to this time, which is kind of funny.
Yep. I will. Not that this was a downside of the match, but I do want to talk about World Cup Gold, about the Guns and Rock Hard Juice Robinson. They were outside of the ring. They were doing their heel thing. I have to say, though, as a brown man, as a person of color, some of the things that they were saying kind of flipped some switches in me, Okay. And it took me a few minutes to recenter myself and be like, yeah, they're heels. This is what they're trying to invoke.
Exactly. They're trying to gain heat the best way they can.
Right, exactly. And, like in the past when you've had your heels going against like your baby faces or whatnot, like for example, let's take D-Generation X.
Right
back in the day. The stuff that they would do to embarrass their opponents and whatnot. Like, as a fan of like Stone Cold or The Rock or whatnot, I was like, ooh, I was mad, but like I was able to be like, but they're heels. That's the thing. Some of the things that they were doing, like they were doing like that, and like they were around Penta when he was on the ground. That really like flipped some switches in me.
I feel you on that one. There is a fine line to working that and a fine line to get that kind of heat. And I don't know, this it just seemed like there wasn't that kind of wink to the audience, like we're doing this as part of the bit. There was that kind of edge to it that made it feel a little too real, and especially I think also carrying off of what happened last week with Juice Robinson's promo on Max Friedman,
right?
With the anti-Semitic sentiments, like there's no grace for it at this point because he's already stepped over that line.
Right. Which apparently MJF and Juice Robinson did discuss that, and
they cleared it,
and cleared it, and MJF was good with it. They made something positive of it because MJF did go on social media and he did promote the anti-Semitic group, I think it is, that he's part of.
Yeah, the
anti-Semitic
group.
Anti-Semitic, yes, which is good. But yeah, I wish that same type of, and maybe it's because it's Penta, and Penta's not as big as MJF, but I wish that same type of care, let's call it, was taken when they were drawing that heat with Penta outside of the ring.
I'm right there with you. It is tough to watch, and then of course we get them for a bit longer going into another promo. It's, they have them together. I will say, right. I'm pretty sure Penta's spine must be compacted after he hit that tope and landed basically off of Jay White and on the floor on his tailbone. That was insane, and it just, that was the match itself. There was the stuff going around that you were paying attention to. There was the action in the ring. It was an explosive opener, to say the least. Very kind of cool to have there. Jay White ends up getting the pin after a distraction, and then a punch from Juice Robinson with the cubic zirconia ring.
With the cubic zirconia TJ Maxx ring.
TJ Maxx, and they got a TJ Maxx chant out of it. It was so good.
It's good.
And then had a promo, obviously cutting back like Max isn't, like, where's Max? We need you to do this. Who's he going to have as his backup? Obviously his stalker Max Caster. Who knows? Yep. And then Juice Robinson got on the mic, and like you could tell the crowd was like a little like, okay, do we want to hear him say something again? Because of what happened. And, he went full nuts. But again, in his relationship, he's the more nuts one, which is hysterical with Tony Storm. It's kind of funny. But they end up like calling that stuff and saying that Max needs to come get the belt from them. And, it was kind of cool not to see Max show up and then address it in a pre-tape promo afterwards. Like, I wasn't going to go out there because I'm smart. I'm a scumbag. I know this tactic because I've done this. So I'm not going to walk into a trap. Right, which is perfect. Right. It really good like that, and I love Renee getting to him and talking to him. So there was a nice little bit there. He's also missing him, and then Max Caster shows up and going too far, and he's stalking him in a bit, and it's just there's a little tweaking that needs to happen with this. It's a little off, I think. Like the interaction between them is just a little off.
I was gonna ask how are we feeling about the whole Max Caster stalking MJF thing. Like, I see what they're trying to do, but like you said, I think it needs to be tweaked a little bit. Especially the Acclaimed being the Acclaimed. With Anthony Bowen being such a pinnacle in the LGBTQ plus community. Right. It does feel like a step and a half, 2 steps backwards, having Max Caster doing that weird stalker thing.
Well, and I think that's why they had this week instead of last week. They had Bowens and Daddy Ass supportive of it, but going, "Oh, dude, you went a little too far with it." Versus, "What are you doing? You're an idiot."
Right. Yeah.
Because that's negging on it versus that support. But at the same time, it's not as like they're trying to play up the angle of this could be, some type of homosexual attraction. Whereas Max is putting off fanboying or just like best friending. Yep. And yes, I know Billy's been part of these fake gay angles before, Billy and Chuck to be sure, but this is farther down the road. We don't need that type of thing like this. Let's call it for what it is instead of calling him a stalker. Call him a fanboy. Call him a weird fan. Don't call him a stalker. Like he's not stalking.
Yep, exactly.
It's a little tough on that. So we move off of that. We get it from there.
Yes.
Dynamite's on a roll, and I got to ask you, Adolfo, were you surprised coming into a Dynamite first time to see a women's match in the first hour because they've never had them before?
Yeah.
With a hype package as well.
Exactly. I was pleasantly surprised. I don't want to say I was shocked. I was close to shocked. Yeah. But like when I saw that package about Emi Sakura and Hikaru Shida, and their history, it was cool.
Yeah.
It actually like had me vested in their match. Unlike most of the women's matches, when they come on, they last 3 minutes and then they're off.
And I will say this, like, it was still the only women's match on the card, which is sorely needed to be changed. But they were given the time for this rivalry, and it was, I'm going to say it now, this was my match of the night. I loved this match, up, down, backwards, and forwards.
Yeah.
The chemistry between the two of them, which was set up in the promo package, and you saw the amount of time they spent, they knew each other so well, and they worked a work rate that Kenny Omega would be proud of. It was crazy.
Yes. So let me ask you this
Ask.
really quick in regards to the women's matches. We had two pretty much like squash matches on Dynamite. We had
which one was done better than the other, which I will get to later.
Right. But would Dynamite have benefited more eliminating those squash matches and putting on another women's match?
I always say 100% yes to this. Obviously, they would. Get another women's storyline working, do something with that, even if it's a multi-person thing. It definitely would. That being said, the second squash match of the night did more for itself. It gave it a reason to be there.
Right.
I am always going to pop when Lance Archer makes his entrance destroying his squash opponent on the way down the ramp and is announced that way. They could have saved it there. They could have saved it in a couple of the other promo lengths as well. This Dynamite, unlike the last couple of weeks though, hasn't been promo heavy enough where I've gone, you literally could have cut all of the stuff you didn't need and put this there. I think you could have tweaked things and maybe given stuff a little less time, a little more time, you would have made fine. But again, they had a battle royal at the end of the night too, so it's kind of like, how do you balance that when you do it? But this was given time. The rolling pin combinations where they kept rolling around the ring.
Oh, that was fantastic. Yeah.
The stalling backbreaker where she held her up for a goddamn minute.
Yeah.
Holy cow. And then just the counters, like the counter of the flying crossbody with the knee to the face, and then the blocking, taking her and like taking her down into an actual like submission move, and all. It was just beautiful.
It was good. It was
utterly
good.
beautiful.
It was a great match. Two wrestlers that really understood each other, and super entertaining. Great story. Give me more.
I would watch that for an hour. Give me an Iron Man women match with that. It'd be so good. And I'm saying this to Tony Khan straight off the bat. You know how I feel about this. We need more women's matches. There was a sign at the damn thing that said "book the women."
Yes.
So the people want it. Let's get it out there. They've shown they can do it, and we have more that can do it.
Yep.
I trust in you somewhat, which I shouldn't. Get off your ass and do it now.
Right.
If you have a chance and you haven't watched this show yet, and you haven't go back, if you want to watch one match, watch Shida versus Sakura. You will. It's Joshi wrestling at its best. And then even better. So take it there, go what you need to. We get Adam Copeland goes over the history of him and Christian Cage in a very heartfelt promo, but this is one I also felt didn't need to be on the show.
Yeah.
They've kind of set it up. It's been in motion. It's great to get the pathos from it, but you're already setting up Christian Cage to have another thing later on in another promo, which actually worked better. This could have been saved for a package somewhere. It could have been saved for a rampage, a collision, something where you have extra time to play with. This wasn't needed. I kind of tuned out because I know the story as a wrestling fan.
Yes.
And he kind of rehashed everything. Did you feel like this was kind of a rehash of
I felt it was unnecessary as well. Because even as a new wrestling fan, if you've been watching since Adam Copeland has come on, it's already been established that they do have some history, and it's already established that Christian Cage has told Adam Copeland to go.
Yeah. That's the viral clip everywhere. You've seen that.
Right. And we know that Adam Copeland is hurt by that. So we don't need to keep digging up, why. It's kind of like the Ortiz and the
Santana.
Ortiz-Santana thing, where when they had one promo where it was Santana, they had another promo where it was Ortiz, and I was like, all right, if the next promo is them not like actual face-to-face, I'm like...
You're wasting my time.
You're wasting my time. And the next promo was them face-to-face, and it was really intriguing. This point, with Adam Copeland and Christian, they need to be more face-to-face. Now, and I understand that Christian, he's the mastermind. I get that, but
right.
Just showing Adam Copeland like crying and rehashing the same thing is like, all right, we get it.
We then move on to the quickest segment in the entire show, the one powerbomb squash that Wardlow gave to Jobber number 4.
Right? Do we even have a name for him? No.
And I mean, you are showing off Wardlow being a powerhouse, and you got the whole thing of like he's back for MJF. Great, that's awesome. You didn't need. Yes, I know Mikey's very nice here. It was Ryan Nemeth, which was said on commentary, but he got no intro, and he's already beaten Ryan Nemeth before, so Nemeth taking him on again, it's like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
He got the crap kicked out of him for no reason. He's out in one powerbomb. It wasn't worth it, and it was cheap heat for shoving Tony Schiavone, which we didn't need.
And this is a problem that I have going with the whole Christian Cage, Adam Copeland, Darby Allin storyline, right? Flipping over to MJF. There is, and even MJF himself commented about this. There's too many irons in the fire of that story. You got MJF beefing with Switchblade, with Juice Robinson, Wardlow. He's gonna have his with the Kingdom. He's gonna have his beef with Roderick Strong. That's a lot going on.
Everybody in AEW wants to fuck with MJF, basically.
Right. That's a lot. That's can we like spread it out a little bit more? You know what I mean? Like,
well, they got to get everything in before he leaves for WWE. That's the whole point.
You see, I have words about that, but that's for later. That's for later.
I would love to hear those later. But we do get back to this. We do see Wild MJF appear again after, but we're going to Renee and Kenny Omega backstage talking about his stuff with the Don Callis family, how it's been, a terrible run of this, and, with Jericho going all out because of injury and all these things. Kenny's just basically like, I need to get back on track, and he's taking on Kyle Fletcher tonight, which I was looking forward to because those two are insanely good workers.
That was another great, yeah. Yep.
But in general, setting up, and then MJF comes in to shake his hand and say 13 days.
13 days.
We move on from there. We've got the Kenny Omega there, and then we go on to. So I thought there was something in between.
No, you missed the Adam Cole.
Oh, that's right, the PB&J. That's what it is.
No, I forgot about it on purpose.
It's not the best the one they've done, no. But in general, it went on a little too long. The gratuitous, almost food porn shots of the PB&J being made were hysterical to me, at least. And then having Roddy say, I don't need crust, and Adam finally leaving. I think it was a video too far, but I think that they got across what they needed to get across with this.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see Roderick Strong cozying up to MJF. That's going to be really interesting.
That's my wonder, is that if we don't get the Acclaimed in the four-way with MJF, are we getting Roderick Strong and the Kingdom backing him up as a way to be nice to him and then letting him fail, basically, and not get the
That is a good question. That is a good question.
God seems to hate everything about it. I enjoyed the Next Strong song at the end, song at the beginning. I did enjoy Next Strong and the Giraffe. That was fun for me.
Yep.
But we will move on because God didn't like this.
Yes.
We'll move right to the next part. Don Callis comes out.
Hey, so...
Yes.
I know what you're gonna say
about this.
Yeah, say
it. Can we check or put a mark in our AEW bingo card that Powerhouse Hobbs villain story is because of Chris Jericho?
Oh yeah, no.
Can we mark that off our AEW bingo card?
As long as we have that, that's in the nice row there in the punch. Also, it's a Chris Jericho based story based around a slight when he was 7. Because he went to a wrestling show and the heel ignored him.
Right. And said something to his grandma.
Not even. Didn't say anything to her. Nicest woman in the world. Let her alone.
My question, did this really happen, though?
No! None of this happened. This is Hobbs' 4th different story for being a freaking heel. And he's set up with Don Callis for no freaking reason. This is it's literal insanity that they're scraping the bottom of the barrel. Like, what idea do we have for a wrestler not to like anybody? You can literally just say, I haven't enjoyed Chris Jericho. He's been in my way the entire time I've been here. He told me to go and be with Taz and Team Taz. He has said being in a group is the best thing ever, and he saw what happened to JAS. I'm finally sick of it. I joined another group.
Yeah. But no, at 7 years old, Chris Jericho.
Because we have to have a 25-year gap. Mikey's coming on here.
Here we go.
Okay. Yeah, Mikey's not going to be off this. Mikey's joining this review.
Well, just for certain parts, because Hobbs is now part of the Last Supper painting. That was hilarious.
Oh my god, that was ridiculous.
I didn't get there yet, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Somebody decided to do an AI filter on that thing. It's Tony Khan, come here for a sec. We need to talk. So, I thought we were going somewhere. All In was cool. All Out was fine. I think everything, it was great. And Hobbs and Miro had an awesome match. And, I thought we were going to get something different from that. And then we didn't. And I was like, oh, that's disappointing. But you know what? I will be cautiously optimistic about it. Then last week's beatdown of the match happened. And then this week happened. I tried to be the positive one of the 9 boys that we have here in the Biconics. I'm cautiously optimistic with a lot of things. And as I'm sitting here, and I got to the end of Hobbs' little portion of this segment before Kyle Fletcher comes down to the ring. Tony, I just have a few things to say. What the are we doing with this? The Chris Jericho void just kills careers in AEW. Like, Sammy Guevara's momentum got killed. Hobbs' momentum never really started, but he was better off until, avoiding the Jericho black hole.
He had momentum at All In when he had the meatiest match everyone's ever seen, and neither guy in that match has been pushed since.
No.
What is going on?
Because Tony Khan, and I love you, and I might get us canceled by saying this, but you are so stuck up so far of Chris Jericho's black holeness that is this whole entire void. Chris, I appreciate what you have done for the business, but I need you, or whoever's in charge, I need them to stop putting you involved in these storylines like this. You do not need to be at the forefront of all this bullshit. God, this pissed me off so much. And then Kyle Fletcher is the only redeeming thing about this whole entire thing.
And they wasted him.
Yes. Adolfo, this is mine and yours fault. Because remember, on Rampage, we were talking about how we wanted Hobbs to get out of QTV so bad.
To get out of QTV.
We were willing to take, and we literally said we're willing to make any type of deal with the devil to get him out of QTV. And now I regret signing
Chris
that
Jericho
contract.
Took the deal.
I am going to be the oddball, and I'm hoping that this whole Powerhouse Hobbs Chris Jericho thing is behind us, and now we can see Powerhouse Hobbs be Powerhouse Hobbs.
They have until Full Gear to correct the situation, because if I am at Full Gear and I see some bull happen in front of me, I'm going to come on the review the next day with all of you, and I am going to blow Tony Khan out of the water with my takes. Tonith Khan, get it together.
Oh, no. I'm waiting to see you live streaming from the event, screaming at the friggin' thing for us and just putting it up as one of our shorts. We're going to move on from that, because that was the promo that got done. Kyle Fletcher comes out to interrupt and go, hey, I was a mercenary for hire. I'm here.
Yep.
And, gets basically told by Don Callis, if you beat Kenny Omega, we'll talk about an opportunity.
Right.
So he gets no entrance music. He comes down to make a fool of himself, and we're like, oh, yep, they're wasting Kyle Fletcher on this. And yet they still had a banger of a match.
They had a great match.
This was basically burying Kyle Fletcher because they can't bury Aussie Open enough to have him versus Kenny Omega here.
I agree with you. But I will say Kenny versus Kyle is my match of the night. I don't give a fuck what nobody says.
Shida Sakura. I'm sorry, Shida Sakura.
I don't.
Sure.
See, I'm gonna politely disagree. I don't think that Kyle Fletcher was buried. Because the match was a great match.
It was
a great match. And I feel that we have consistently seen Kyle Fletcher putting on great match after great match after great match. The question now stands, okay, his tag team partner, because they are a tag team, his tag team partner is out with that broken wrist and he's getting that fixed. How far do we want to push Kyle Fletcher as a singles star, knowing that his partner is going to be coming back, and knowing that we could have Aussie Open, back in the picture for the championship.
They're used to this. They're used to this AEW. They did this for Dante Martin a couple years ago when Darius was out with a major injury, and Dante he should have been pushed even farther. He was an amazing single star. Now Dante's out with that horrible injury, and Darius is being pushed in ROH as a single star now, finally. It's like they know how to kind of keep it rolling. My thing, and the issue why I'm going to disagree with you, Adolfo, on the fact that he wasn't buried, is that they put on a match that was better than expected, and yes, they commentary put him over as like he did a great job. He really like held it with Kenny Omega. So the burying wasn't in terms of on-screen product. The burying was they're putting him up against Kenny Omega in this storyline again. My understanding of what they were trying to do with this is Don Callis is trying to break down Kenny Omega in every piece of his life. Right. Mm-hmm. Kenny Omega hasn't lost enough to really start to be looking like he's breaking down. This was an opportunity to have Kenny beaten by a guy who's a tag team specialist and one of the best things there, and working his way to get Don Callis' approval. And like same thing, like, with the Jericho Sammy match and all that stuff. Like, Jericho ate the pin on that one. Great. We have to have Kenny continue to lose or be in matches where he's on the losing team to go nuts and attack Don. And it's not happening. He's beating people left and right and still staying on top. And this is a perfect example of it. You had a built-in place here with an amazing worker who doesn't need to like do much past it, but to literally, and you could have Kyle Fletcher double cross Don Callis. This was just a waste of the match with Kyle Fletcher to have Omega win. He didn't need
I see
it.
that. Yep. Okay. I see that. And at sidebar.
Yeah.
Alice is not impressed with Kenny Omega at all.
She has good taste.
So she just gave. Oh.
Kenny
Omega, tag in.
I wrote down this before she jumps in. What I wrote down this was a standard Kenny Omega match where he did all his greatest hits. I have not seen inventiveness from Kenny Omega in quite a few matches, basically since the Will Ospreay match. So I will agree with Alice.
Tag in.
I'm tagging in. Hello.
I hear you have good taste.
Oh, I guess.
Basically, we were talking about the fact that you are not a fan of Kenny Omega.
Oh, no. No, I'm not. I don't find him engaging at all. He's quite boring.
Quite boring? Can you
know.
elaborate on that a little, or?
Sure, I guess. So, technically he's good, right? He is a technically good wrestler. So, kudos to him. So proud of you. Good at that. He is not good at engaging the audience. He's not good at really, selling his storyline or making me care at all about what happens to him. And in this match, I was so rooting for the other guy. Like, he was doing Fletcher, I think his
Kyle
name
Fletcher,
was.
Yep.
He was doing, I'm like, yeah, do it, man. He was doing so great. But no, Kenny Omega is not someone I enjoy watching.
I agree with you wholeheartedly on that sometimes. Yeah. I can see that he's a very technically good wrestler, and what I was saying before you jumped on was this match specifically, and the last few he's had that I've watched have been, here's the things that Kenny Omega has been doing for years that are very, very fun to watch. There's no inventiveness in it. There's no change and nothing to bring me in. It's just that he's going to do this move, then he's going to set up that move, he's going to do this move, and his opponent, if they sell them well, it looks spectacular. But it's
right. But he's boring. Like, he's he's boring to watch. So, it's like you're saying, right? If he's he's got this formula all worked out. I'm so glad it works for him. But it's so boring. Pick something else, right? Like you said, his opponent looks fantastic. Well, he looks fantastic. But
I brought this up in the match at the beginning of the night when Jay White was taking on Penta. Jay White adapts his style to his opponent. It's not the same things over and over. He's going for the same finisher, but he knows how to work the opponent to showcase how the style is affecting him as a wrestler, which draws me into how are you going to get out of this? Because you're not a luchador. You're not a technical wrestler. What are you going to do? This was, I'm doing the same 8 moves. Whoop-de-doo. Thank you for saying it. Yeah. And I felt so bad every time I say this about it. I'm like, because we've got fans out there who are going to eat us alive for doing it, but this is true.
Well, that's fine. I'm opinionated, and you can try to change my mind, but you're not going
to. Alice, my esteem for you has gone through the roof just from this right here. I am so happy to hear that opinion on here. So you watched most of Dynamite, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy the show at all? Was it a good show overall or a bad show? Did it hold your attention?
Did it hold my attention?
I'm with you on that one because that was me last night. Listen, I never thought I would say, no, I know I would say this, but Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but NXT has kind of been the best thing so far this week, and I have yet to watch Ring of Honor and Impact tonight, so we'll see.
We'll do that soon. I will ask you the other one I had a question on. How was the Shida Sakura match for you? That was Hikaru Shida, the women's champion, versus her mentor, Emi Sakura.
Okay, I don't think I actually saw that one, so I can't comment on it. I'm so sorry.
Watch it, please. I want to know.
Okay, all right.
Listen,
So
I was
go back
here.
and watch it.
I was here. You could have tagged me in, but no.
They had a build up for it. The whole thing with them that I love is that they set up finally that Shida was trained by Sakura. So because they know each other so well, I think you're going to enjoy the inventive ways they come up with to block each other's offense. That's a lot of fun.
Oh, I'll have to check it out then.
Love it.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
We love Alice.
All right.
Alice is the best.
I'm so happy that I decided to chime into this review. This was great. I loved it.
All right.
That's
right.
that's one half of our collision crew, you guys.
So we got through all of that. We talked about Kenny Omega. It's he won. It's there were a couple. Yeah, it didn't need to be going over any more than that. It was fine, great.
Danhausen.
It's just my moment of the night. Danhausen. I want to see him back soon. And please talk about how he has cursed the international title belt to make everyone else get hurt.
I mean,
if he's cursed, OC gets it back. That's an amazing story with that. I'm your friend. I cursed everyone, so you would get it back.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait.
But of course, then he's going to pull him out of the backpack at some point because he's
oh my gosh, that'd be hilarious.
And then we have, so I have
Lance
loved
Archer.
this since it was dark, with Lance Archer is kicking his opponent down to the ring. And Justin,
I had to pause real quick. I'm like, is that one of the Jackson brothers? Oh, no, never mind. That's like their long lost cousin.
What was someone said? I think it was Simon Miller goes the not so young buck. But this was a squash that was worthwhile. There's a little bit of hope, not much. It's a Lance Archer match, which I love, and I pop every time you have Justin Roberts say, rolling his opponent to the ring, Lance the Murder Monster, Lance Archer. This was a squash I enjoyed. I don't know about you, Adolfo. Like, did you enjoy it? Like watching the carnage?
I mean, I did. I did.
Could have been a
What?
But I stand by what I said earlier. You could have cut this and the other squash match and put it in another women's match.
You're wrong. No, I'm just kidding.
Cut Hobbs too. Cut it all. We'll get a 7-minute match.
Right? Yeah, and Power.
No, you could have cut from the whole Don Callis thing. I'm not. Why are we not using Lance Archer more? Why?
Because he keeps running up against a roadblock where like he's never been allowed to beat the actual like named competitors. He's always squashing other people, and then he goes up against Moxley and like tries to do a moonsault and knocks himself out for a while. So it's hard. He's a great competitor. He's amazing in the indies. Give him a run. Don't put him up against Wardlow or anyone else that's big. Let him just run through everyone else for a while and build up his record so that he becomes a challenger that's a roadblock for MJF to get out of the company. Who knows?
Yep.
So we move on from a live in-person squash to a promo for a music video, which turns into a promo on Hangman Page with Prince Nana.
I am happy to see that they are giving Swerve some TV time. And I'm happy that they are building this Swerve Hangman Page beef. I'm good with that.
Give me round 2 at Full Gear. I want to see that in person.
Yep. I'm ready.
It's going to be amazing, and what I would love to see at Full Gear if it's in person, Mikey, as Nana's coming out, you got to be doing the same thing and videoing yourself at the same time. On camera.
You're absolutely listen.
So we get that wonderful promo. They reference Hangman. They want to go after him. I'm loving that part of it. The music video should be fun. Hopefully, if it's not a dance number for most of it. But then we moved on to the thing we brought up at the top of the show. It was Sting's retirement announcement. This was needed. It was a well-put promo. Sting knows how to cut a promo, reference a lot of people. We did our deep dive on this early in the show. We talked about this.
Got it.
So Revolution 2024, so sometime in March will be his last match.
Exactly.
So we're moving on.
We're moving on to RJ City introducing and also starring in Tony Storm's next project. Yes. This was so much
This was
better.
an improvement.
Love.
This was an improvement from the first one.
My one note, You overcorrected to only title cards and nothing else. Let's mash the 2 weeks together, and you'll have the perfect next one that we have.
Yeah.
But oh my god.
My only note is that TNT went to commercial and it was picture in picture. So even though it was a silent movie, I still didn't get the music, and I didn't. I wanted to see it.
And there was some decent music to it too. Yeah. It was very like Gone with the Wind operatic, like strings and stuff.
Yeah.
You need to get that Fight TV feed, because this is I'm getting sick and tired of this, where it's being like the picture in picture is almost like it's every match now with Dynamite, and it's getting really it's getting bad.
Yep. But I am so happy with this whole new direction that they're taking Tony Storm in. I love this, unhinged Hollywood starlet thing from the 30s going on. I think the cherry on top would be if someone, when Tony Storm comes out, if someone comes out with her pushing along a fainting couch.
Oh my god, I am so here for that.
But she keeps missing it. She keeps missing it.
Right. Right. Yep.
Listen, Tony, the Biconic Boys are available whenever you want that, or if that's part of it, we will all rotate in, please.
We will be your Shays pusher.
Got you.
Entire time.
Listen,
I got you.
She's my bisexual.
I'm also hoping for next week, because she's doing that 30s thing. We have to have a reference to either Nosferatu or Dracula.
Oh yeah.
In her next thing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Gotta be there.
Yeah.
But this was a pick me up. I was like, I felt sad with Sting retiring and stuff like that. We went to commercial.
Yep.
Nice pick me up. Nice way to get into that. And then we get
drama.
Yeah. Listen, Nick.
The camera work on this made me sick. It was ridiculous.
Nick, your mom was so much better. Why is your mom a better actor than you? I'm like, she's not even a wrestler.
Because she's got to put up with her son.
That's very, very true. Listen, Christian Cage is such a giga chat. I loved it.
Again, my personal unprofessional opinion on this. I was all right with Nick Wayne's acting. I was all right with his mom's acting. And I love JR.
JR did not need to be there. But Renee.
He did not need to be there. And it's just like, because they needed someone that was reacting, because when Nick Wayne, when Nick Wayne did whatever it was to his mom, all JR, he just kind of sat, and I understand why JR just sat there, but JR was just like, that's your mother, it's like
right. You could have had Renee be. Speaking of which, I'm gonna go on a sidebar real quick. Can we just shout out Renee? She's putting in the Lord's work tonight. She was involved in almost everything backstage. I was like, why are we? What? No, this is it. She just have her. Yeah, but JR didn't add anything.
Yeah, they could have.
Yeah. He's past it now where he can't do that. He isn't reactive. He can't be that reactive enough. And if you're not going to set him up for success with something to do about it, don't put him in the middle of those two. Sit them both as where he can. Do what you want with it. Or, I don't know. It's like old man JR needs to go home. I'm sorry.
And I'm giving you your flowers, JR, because I've grown up with you at the commentator's table.
You were the voice of my childhood.
Yeah, by God. But
stop the damn match,
dude. It's okay. It's okay. You can write more books. You got a new book coming out. Write more of them. You're good.
Well, and here's the other part. I know they couldn't do anything to JR in this promo because they already had Wardlow push Tony Schiavone over. They don't need two things of elder abuse, so obviously they gotta have something going on. But
it's sweet that you two have memories of that. I don't, so I'm like, get out of here, JR. Bye.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear something from the 90s calling.
You're right.
Hit the brick, Slappy!
By God.
He's broken in half.
Someone stop the match. Sorry.
Stop the damn match.
Speaking of things being broken, I thought Darby killed somebody before they came to the ring.
Oh my
I was
God.
he aggressively threw Nick Wayne through that barricade, through the parking rail. I was like, Jesus.
He broke his tooth on it. Nick Wayne was busted open the hard way.
Yep, backstage spot turns into a front of the house spot. Where we have Darby Allin kicking Nick Wayne down the ramp. Luchasaurus comes out. Christian Cage comes out. Stinger comes out. So we know Sting is still involved in this storyline, you know?
Did Sting, I want to say, I couldn't tell from the angle of the camera, did he hip check Christian out of the way or something? Like,
I think he
went
did.
through him quickly.
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah.
Christian bumped for him. It was great.
But Nick.
And then whatever they were talking about at the end, who knows?
I mean, Nick broke a tooth. He's bleeding. I mean, Nick, the good thing is AEW does have a dentist you can go visit if your insurance covers
She
it.
travels with you.
So, and now I'm gonna bring the MJF complaint that I had over on this one. For as involved in the story as I am with Christian and Darby Allin and Sting and whatnot, too many cooks in the kitchen. Yeah, like, especially because we've already had a big stretch of, Darby Allin going after the TBS belt, and
it's overplayed.
Yeah.
They're trying to build to something and try to keep it rolling.
It's just too many people involved.
It's too much, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, but you know what? AEW needs to find their big brawl at some point in this match.
Which, I mean, that match, or we have the perfect group in the next promo that could get in a brawl with somebody and be hysterical to watch.
Yep.
As we have best friends, Hook, Orange Cassidy, and Chris Statlander all there.
Yep.
And they got everything across. They got every bit. Like, it wasn't just one person's promo. It was a couple people's promo, because we know that Willow Nightingale's going to be taking on Chris Statlander. Give me more of that.
Dark Side Willow Nightingale.
That's right. Willow Midnightingale. And her tag team partner, Midnight Blue.
Dark Skies. Dark Sky Blue.
I'm loving that continuity. I really want to see
Skies all black.
Yeah. we talked about this over on the Rampage. That other
no,
show
don't
that we shoot.
Watch the Rampage review, folks. If you're not watching, go watch it.
You
please.
take pride in Rampage, because me and you killed that when we review it. This is a hostile takeover. The Rampage boys are taking over Dynamite.
Professor, come back. Professor, where are you? Professor!
It's already too late. That's okay. You guys are going to invade NXT, and it's going to be crazy.
I'm ready for some spooky shit. I'm ready for like Malachi Black or Julia Hart to come out, and because she sprayed Willow Nightingale and Julia Hart to have mind powers over them and and I'm ready to see them come out. Look how I'm getting excited about this, right?
I know.
If Willow Nightingale and Sky Blue joined House of Black and came out and it was a trio of Julia Hart, Willow Nightingale, and Sky Blue, dude, that storyline, I would just
literally, this is AEW is sitting on a gold mine, because you can literally have the AEW version of the Scooby-Doo Hex Girls, and I would be here for it.
But let's walk this back. That'd be great. I am on board for this. Your excitement is infectious.
But
Tony Khan can't book women. So what are they going to do? They only have one women's match they're allowed to do.
That's why you
one.
So that's why you stick them on Collision, where Brian will help.
Or Ring of Honor, which would be lots of fun too.
Honestly, Ring of Honor would be killer. Do that.
Adolfo, I'm with you on it. I want this to happen. I need this storyline to happen. If Tony Khan learns to book women, then we'll be fine.
Yep.
If not, it's going to be wasted. But in this promo, we had that set up, and then we had Orange Cassidy saying he's back to defending his title at all points. Bring on all comers. While I'm this man needs a break, you know what? Let's see what they can do with this. It's going to bring some stuff back to it and make Danhausen have this thing cursed. Please.
Well, I mean, since we're talking about this trio, let's just jump into it. So, as we were told in the bumpers after this, it is Battle of the Belts 8, I believe it is. Yeah, it's 8.
Yep.
Here at 8. But Battle of the Belts 8, we are getting 3 matches. And so, the one that I don't really care about, the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass are defending the Trios Championships against the Reject Society of the JAS. But the two that I'm more excited about, Orange Cassidy versus whoever wins the triple threat on Rampage. So it's either going to be John Silver, Brother Zay, but my personal pick, Kip Sabian.
Oh yeah, it has to be Kip Sabian at that point. That's gonna be a match.
Listen, I love all three of them, but it's got to be Kip for me. I was like, if it's not, we have problems. And then of course,
I mean, Johnny Hungy would be fun. I'd like to see Johnny Hungy.
Yes, but Kip Sabian, I think that match would be stellar. And then of course, this needs to be the main event. Don't know if it will be, but Willow versus Chris for the TBS Championship. God, that match is gonna roll.
I don't think Chris is going to drop it, but I think it's going to be close because I think Willow could take it off her and it'd be fun to have her be in.
Listen, Willow made me believe she could take Athena's title at Death Before Dishonor. She can do the same thing here.
Let's.
I'm gonna be completely honest. This has been more entertaining because this main event was a thing.
It was a battle royal. It wasn't terrible. It was a battle royal. I did enjoy that. I want to see Jeff Hardy and Daniel Garcia have a dance off.
Oh my god! Listen, me and Adolfo are over it only because we've seen it twice in 2 consecutive weeks on Rampage.
Yeah.
Right, so have the actual dance off. Like, don't have them in a match. Do it. Like, have them have a dance off.
No.
I'm too worried that Matt Hardy's gonna break his hip.
Jeff Hardy's gonna break a hip.
Matt Hardy doesn't have
Jeff
his own
Hardy.
hip
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jeff Hardy. Yeah.
Matt's just gonna concuss himself again somehow.
Yeah.
But then, this was your standard kind of like battle royal. We knew who was going to come out in the winner at this one because Juice has to take on Max to get it.
Yep, MJF. Yep,
MJF completely. Commander taking the backflip elimination was very interesting, and I was like, "Oh God, please don't die!"
Seriously, what is happening?
The sleeper for me for that battle royale was Dustin Rhodes.
The natural.
Yeah,
I loved MJF having paid him to do the Shattered Dreams on Juice Robinson.
I know. Oh, did we mention how that MJF came out to the announcer table?
We did not. He was on commentary.
Yeah, he came out. Yeah, he came out. To the announcer table. End of the match, got jumped.
Yep, he did. After he ripped his shirt open and nearly lost it.
Shirt open. Yep. He got jumped. He did not get his belt back from
Jay White.
From
he had it for
Jay
2
White.
seconds.
Yep, he had it, and then Jay White was able to steal it back
with a dick punch.
Right. Again, to clarify, Jay White is not the champion. Jay White has stolen the belt. So,
but he's
carrying it everywhere.
Yeah,
that's a different podcast.
Yeah, but
and he's renamed it the Bang Bang Belt instead of
the Bang Bang Belt.
The big
I prefer that.
Yep. And Rock Hard won, and he's going to be facing MJF for the ring, so he could pawn it.
Remember, also, Juice Robinson tried to give himself another nickname tonight. He's
God.
the Stray Bullet.
Rock Hard
Juice
Stray
Robinson.
Bullet, yeah.
That was Dynamite. We got through all there. I was hungry when I ate up on this. I got through all of it. But Adolfo, I need to know from you first, and then from our voice of God, Mikey, how many empanadas are you giving this Dynamite tonight? Because this is not a normal show for you to ingest, basically.
Yeah. So out of the 5 scale of empanada, I'm going to give this 3 ham and cheese empanadas. With American cheese, where it's they're enjoyable, but they're nothing enjoyable, and they warm my tum tum.
Mikey, how many empanadas did you eat for this?
I'm just gonna come out and say it. I'm gonna give this a solid 2.7 empanadas out of 5. Only because, again, I thought there was some stuff I liked. Kenny versus Kyle was great. Emi versus Hikaru was also really great. But everything else in between was just, I don't know. It was just paced weird. Certain things didn't need to be there. Some things went on for way too long. Again, my strength that I bring to the table with the Biconics boys is my writing experience and the overall booking of a show. You need to have peaks and valleys with everything. It's just the last couple weeks have been kind of all over the place with Dynamite. In the last few weeks, I've been kind of giving them a little bit of a pass because, I'm being cautiously optimistic. But we're 4 or 5 weeks out from Full Gear. And while I'm excited to get to that pay-per-view in person, my biggest issue with AEW this whole entire time still is just that outside of the big storylines, like everything else just takes a nosedive.
Oh, hold on. I'm getting something here. Professor, what did you think of the show? Oh, sorry. His empanadas gave him the runs. He's going to be going for a bit.
That's horrible. He probably bought them at the grocery store.
How does
Professor, what did we tell you? Stop buying them at the gas station. 7-Eleven empanadas are not it. I don't care how hungry you are.
Go for the Jolly, not the 7-Eleven.
Oh God, Jolly is so good, but that's a whole nother podcast.
I don't understand how he does that.
I don't.
But
either.
JBL, what about you? As the lead in this whole entire chaos of action, what do you give this week's AEW Dynamite?
I feel like I have to protect my score because this is Invasion of Rampage, but I would have given this one a 2.5 empanadas. Like I bit into the first one, got some juicy stuff in there. It was delicious. Got some really kind of fine ground, like pork with a little like hatch chili. It was really kind of fun. And then I bit into the second one, and it's the same stuff, which is great, but there's something missing, and it's just not filling. And I tried to get to the third one, and it's still like I'm getting a lot of breading, but not filling. And then I realized what I'm missing is women's matches. So I then vomited up the one, which I take away the point, and I'm back down to 1.5 for the empanadas for the week. So that's where we're sitting today. I gotta say, having Mikey jump in, voice of God, and then appear out of nowhere, always magical to have here. But Adolfo, I love having you on here because I love your insights. I love that we get Alice as a package deal. And in general, it's refreshing to have that on here because I know you get to review the other AEW shows that we don't communicate as much about what we feel about it.
Yeah.
So, and I wish I could drag you to ROH tomorrow because it's going to be a lot of fun and you can watch that too. But thank you for being here. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for doing this for us.
Thank you for having me. And Professor, wherever you are, be safe.
We'll have to see. He's got a journey to go on, and hopefully it's someday we get him back here. But it may take a while for him to do that. But if we always say it, somewhere the Professor is still running.
Yep.
Thank you all for joining us here on the Just Our Three Gents. We had 3 gents tonight. For Mikey, for Adolfo, for myself, JVL. We love having you here. Please join us on the socials. Go to BC WrestlePod. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Get on the Instagram and tell us you're there. Drop us some comments. Share it around. Tell people about us. Tell us how much you like Adolfo better than the Professor. We got to have him on every week. Tell me how much you like to see Mikey's face. Tell me how much you want tell us where you want the Professor to run to next. We want to see that. But it all comes down to it. Remember, here at the Dynamite Review, you're Biconic. We're all Biconic. And we love sharing this weird art form with you at all times. And we'll see you on our next video.